The stock market is going to move a lot this week. With that being said, we're going to be telling you guys everything you guys need to know, news that happened over the weekend, and everything to expect on Monday. What is good, guys? NextGen Wealth Tips here. I'm here to tell you guys about the market, some supports and resistance, and more. Without further ado, let's get started. But use some of my links in the description below. Robinhood and Coinbase are two good apps to use. If you guys use the links below, you guys can get free stocks and coins. And with the Coinbase link, you have a chance to win 1 Bitcoin. So why not try? And also, there's also a link for TradingView. I do recommend using TradingView. It is a great app to use to look at charts, news, and everything that you need. With that being said, to start, Apple moved up 2% last week, and some other stocks moved down, just like Meta, Google. Microsoft kind of moved down or moved up a little bit. You know, we were kind of neutral with Microsoft over the week. Walmart moved 10 or minus 10%. We did have earnings, and then the drop with the earnings. Amazon moved down 5%. Amazon has been falling. Nvidia moved down 2%. And on Friday, we did have, the sell-off. We've been having that for the last couple of weeks. With that being said, normally we have a sell-off on Friday and then a buyback throughout the week, and then it just keeps on repeating. So honestly, don't be too scared. I think the stocks, if we have history, the history of the past couple of weeks is going to move back up. But with that being said, we did get a lot of bad news on Friday, so keep that on your mind and on your radar. But with that being said, let's talk about some news first and get a little started. So with that being said, NVIDIA's earnings is indeed next week, so keep that on mind. But with that being said, we are looking at NVIDIA to kind of talk about their chip production and kind of just the demand overall for chips. That can really move a lot of other chip stocks. So keep in mind for like AMD, Broadcom, other stocks too. So keep those on your mind too, because if the earnings call can potentially and most likely will move other chip stocks. So keep that on mind because you guys can play other chip stocks too. But with that being said, keep the earnings for NVIDIA on your mind and on your radar. We also have Planet Fitness. We're going to be talking about it a little bit later when we get to the charts. We have earnings for that. For the past like 6-7 earning calls, it has been going up. And with that being said, Planet Fitness, it's like $20 a month. As of like a year ago or something when I used to go, and it's a pretty decent gym, but compared to other prices, it is a pretty decent gym to go to, and why not spend, $20 a month on it, But with that being said, we do have some other things that are going out, like tariffs. There has been some tariff news over the weekend too, but it's not really anything bad, honestly. Like, not bad, but as bad as Friday. So honestly, I think the stocks are gonna probably open up green. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been trying to look at news throughout the week because I was in a put option for SPY. It's still up, but I think it might drop down. If stocks don't drop down even more. With that being said, keep Nvidia, definitely Nvidia, and any other chip stocks on your mind and on your radar. With that being said, we do have, I think, the German election. I don't think that's really going to move this stock market at all. Also, Wall Street ahead of Nvidia to offer AI trades reality check. So you might honestly, I don't know. I don't know how the chip stock is going to be really moving, but we will be looking at the gap fills for Nvidia and kind of give you guys an idea of what to come. With that being said, understand that before earnings, a lot of option plays are pretty expensive. So be very, very careful. I do recommend, like, on a Monday, you can get into an option play and then sell it right before earnings, just because that's where it's going to be the most expensive and the most low risk, to be honest. Because if, like, you get a call option and then the stock ends up dropping, we seen that a lot. A lot of stocks, a lot of people are hyping it up and then it drops. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. But with that being said, with news kind of out of the table, probably gonna be talking about a little bit more about news. We talk about how the stock markets move. So on Friday, I think we had one of our biggest drops we had on a Friday, except for maybe this one right here where it just dropped throughout the week. I don't think we're going to get down to that 590 level, to that 598 or 89 level that we've seen. I don't even think we're going to drop at all anymore. We do have a green 4-hour candle before the market closed. I think we closed a little bit above 600, but we did get to that 599 level. We did break below that 600, but it kind of held strong. So we're still on that $600 level of support. With that being said, I do recommend being very, very patient. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at some levels. So I think for SPY, the gap fill downwards will be that 590 level. We've seen it hit that 590 level multiple times on a Friday, going to the Monday, like over the weekend, basically. But I don't think we're going to drop that much, honestly. I think we're probably going to hold strong on that 598 level. We might bounce down to that 598 if we do see a little bit more red and then bounce up. With that being said, we have been bouncing up consistently every single Friday. So, or not every single, like after like Monday to Friday, and then we bounce down again. So, as you guys can see, just bounce up, sell off, bounce up, sell off, bounce up, sell off. May not be accurate with my descriptions, but that's kind of has been happening. So we might just get like a bounce down and then another bounce up and then another sell off this Friday, just depending on news and everything. We just had a lot of bad news on this Friday. This Friday kind of seemed like it was like the worst news that we've gotten recently, except for that the AI in China, but that kind of like bounced down. So, or we're not really looking at that AI anymore, but just keep that on your mind for SPY. But to gaps to fill upwards, we do have the gap to fill upwards all the way up to that 613, the new highs. You never know. Like we've been bouncing down, bouncing back up, making new highs. So we might do the same thing, and or we might just bounce back up to that 610, and then Friday comes, we might bounce back down. So just keep that in your mind. Apple's been moving pretty decently. I think on all that bad news, it hasn't bounced down until like the end of the day, on that day. So we kind of had like a bullish trend, and then at around 6 o'clock, we started selling off, as you guys can see. But Apple was moving pretty strong. With that being said, just depending on news and everything like that, how the weekend went, we can probably see it bounce back up, gap fill all the way up to that 248, and maybe even hit that 250 by next week. If not, if we get some bad news, we might stay below VWAP and then bounce down even more to that 245, 242, and then 240 level, and then bouncing down even lower. But honestly, Apple has been pretty strong. Probably the strongest stock that we had on the SPY. So keep Apple on your mind for bullish. But honestly, do your research and just see how the charts are moving. Big one that sold off was indeed NVIDIA. We were kind of moving pretty strong throughout the week and honestly holding pretty strong overall. And we did see that 240, but it kind of bounced off of it. But we almost hit that 240 level. And honestly, just like the levels that we were at a few months ago, before everything, all the bad news came out. But with that being said, I think NVIDIA is still pretty strong, but earnings is coming up, like I said before. And with NVIDIA, you kind of need a great earnings call, and they have to really project like the demand, their production of chips, and kind of like new chips that are coming out. They kind of have to hype everything up for the stock to spike up a decent amount. So keep that one on your mind while watching the earnings call. But like I said before, this can move other chip stocks. So keep AMD and stuff like that on your mind. Another one is Palantir. So we did have like an 8% decrease in spending over the next 5 years. If it was just like an 8% just this year, it wouldn't really be that bad. But since it's over time as a long term, like if you want to hold it as a long term, I honestly don't think it's going to be good unless we get some decent news with better deals or anything like that coming out. But with this 8% decrease, it can really mess up the future deals and everything like that. So overall, I think I'm pretty bearish on the stock, and we do have big gaps to fill downwards. As we see in the 4-hour time frame, we have all the way down to that $86 level, and then even lower if we bounce below that 72, and then that 64. But a lot of people are saying we're going to get down to the $86 level, and I kind of agree with them. But I do recommend just being very, very patient. Just see how it moves with the line that is at right now, around the $100 level. If we bounce below that, that's when we can continue downwards. But it kind of bounced off of it twice here, and then we did have like a bounce here. But I think that $100 level is going to be key, because if we bounce below that, we're going to be bearish overall. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. Tesla is pretty decent, but at the same time, they did come out with better news with the robotics and full self-driving. But with that being said, I think in China it is still delayed. I don't know. I see news like that last week that it got delayed in China. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. Oh, and Apple, I didn't even announce for Apple, but Apple, they're coming out with better AI in China. That's their phone's like number 3 or something, because there's better phones in China that is basically better AI. But since they're enhancing and expanding their AI into China, it can bring their phones up even more. So that's kind of just the good news that we had on Apple, and that's why Apple's been moving pretty strong recently. I forgot to announce that. Amazon has been moving pretty bearish for the past couple of weeks, honestly. But with that being said, we do have this level right here, 216. They bounce off of a few times, and we're kind of seeing a bounce off of it right now. But with that being said, if we bounce down even lower, we do have 205 to look at, 200, and then all the way down to that 196, and then even gaps to fill downwards even more. I would look at that 190 level, and then all the way down to that 180 level. So there's decent gaps to fill downwards with Amazon, and then also just filling back up to that 240 level to 242. But Amazon, I recommend just waiting until you see a full bottom, because we did have like a recovery. We kept on going down, a little bit of a recovery, down, recovery, down, recovery, down, recovery. So we might just see a down and then a recovery and then down even more. So don't really get in too early. But with that being said, NVIDIA earnings report scheduled to release this week. NVIDIA's quarterly results are highly anticipated, especially in light of recent developments in the AI chip market. Investors will be closely monitoring the company's performance and guidance. So the PCE index is set to be released, and that is the Federal Reserve's preferred measurement of inflation. This report will provide insights into consumer spending and inflation trends, which are critical for assessing the economic outlook and potential policy adjustments. So keep that on your mind. Some global events. Germany's upcoming elections could have significant implications for Euro markets, particularly concerning economic policies and investor sentiment. Additionally, ongoing geopolitical tensions, such as the situation in Ukraine. Honestly, man, the situation in Ukraine, man, let me know how y'all feel about that, man. Trump is being aggressive, man. Golly, there's a lot of things coming out with that. It's kind of insane. I've I've been looking at news a lot recently, and bro, he's not stopping, man. But yeah, man. That's basically what all we have for the stock market outlook for the week. I will make a better one tomorrow just to see how the market is really moving. But I make daily videos about the stock market outlook, some news to look at, even some insider news and some early news can come out too. If you guys didn't catch that Dollar General play, I made a video on that early so y'all can get in before anybody else seen. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, comment W if you guys watched until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.